welcome to the first edition of Durrell TV in 2016. I'm Rosalie and I'll be bringing you the top stories from the Durrell Wildlife Park here in Jersey and from our conservation projects around the world. Well, we had an exciting start to the new year. Our Andean bear Bahia gave birth to a little cub. Now we've been able to keep an eye on mother and cub inside the den thanks to some infrared cameras. Have a look for yourself.
Bahia's 5 years old, female bear. She came to us from Germany. She's a lovely temperamented bear. She's really sweet, really personable with the keepers. She likes a lot of one-on-one attention. She's our male bear. They get on amazingly, both him and Bahia, from the day they met really. They kind of took one look at each other and just ran off playing, wrestling, and it was brilliant to watch. So that whole first year was really playful because they were still so young. The birth itself was quite uneventful in itself. We have all of these brilliant images from the footage, from the cameras we have placed in the den. So now we can monitor her, check on the condition of the cub and see that it's doing well without having to disturb her at all. Because in this species, leaving them alone during the cubbing nesting period is crucial. Any disturbance can affect the mother-cub relationship. So the more hands-off we can be, the better the chances the cub will be raised happily by its mother.
Conservation is a cornerstone of the work we do here at Durrell. We're involved in around 50 projects in 18 countries around the world. And one species that desperately needs our help is this little monkey, the pied tamarin. Now in the wild, pied tamarins are only found in and around the growing city of Manaus in the heart of the Brazilian Amazon. Their natural habitat is disappearing and these little monkeys are being pushed to the brink of extinction. Our head of mammals, Don Wormel, has been at the forefront of conserving pied tamarins for decades.
You can just see what pristine forest we have here. It's glorious to be here, but the picture isn't the same everywhere for the pied tamarin, and we're going to go and see some areas in the city where the species just hangs on by the smallest of threads. Where I'm stood here once was Brazilian rainforest, right in the heart of the Amazon. And so you're left with this situation where, as the city of Manaus is growing, it's almost like a concrete tidal wave that's engulfing the habitat for this tiny tamarin. And quite frankly, they are only surviving because of the goodwill of the human neighbours. Some of the humans there will feed them bananas, and that's their lifeline. How long it will last, who knows? And I believe that one of the elements of managing the species in the wild is to work with the local people here so that they care about these species and they realise that they need the forests for their futures. So do the pied tamarins, but you know, that's going to take time.
If you don't already know him, I'd like to introduce you to Professor Carl Jones. He's Durrell's chief scientist and the scientific director of the Mauritian Wildlife Foundation. Now, Carl has spent the last 4 decades dedicated to saving species on the brink of extinction. He's helped save the echo parakeet, the pink pigeon, and the Mauritius kestrel from disappearing forever. Well, Carl's recently been announced as a finalist in the prestigious Indianapolis Prize 2016. Well, recently I sat down with him and asked him about the highlights of his career.
There have been very many highlights, and when I went to Mauritius it was working with the rare birds, and I started with the pink pigeon and the Mauritius kestrel, both of which were critically endangered at the time. And the kestrel in the 1970s went down to single figures. In 1974 there were only 4 individuals left in the wild, and we were able to restore that with captive breeding and reintroduction. And then we moved on to the pigeon, the parrot, and then in more recent years we've been working on the endangered passerines, the small songbirds in Mauritius. But I've always enjoyed going and working on the remote islands, and I always thought, wow, wouldn't it be nice if we could really restore these? And of course Jerry Durrell was always very interested in Round Island, and we had many of the reptiles here in the zoo. And it was always our goal to try and put those islands back to something like they would have looked like before man modified them and introduced rabbits and goats. So what started very modestly, breeding the odd bird in a cage and thinking that one day we might be able to release them, it's grown into a movement on the island, restoring the native habitats, putting back these critically endangered species and training people, the next generation of young conservation biologists.
And finally, have you heard about the Do It for Durrell Challenge 2016? It involves a 13K run and a family fun day. Our ambassador Henry Cavill will be here in Jersey to support the event. He'll be here on the 15th of May at the Wildlife Park, and he's even donated his first car, which you can win in a raffle.
Hello, I'm Henry Cavill and I'm here to tell you about the Durrell Wildlife Challenge 2016. It will involve a 13K fun run and a family fun day at Durrell Wildlife Park. And also, as you can see, there's a car right here, and this is my very first car. And you lucky things, have the chance to win it on the day by buying raffle tickets. The date of the event is the 15th of May 2016, and if you want any more information, you can go to www.doitfordurrell.com. And of course, all proceeds will go to Durrell Wildlife Park. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support.
Well, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.